actual journey started way back before 2008 or 2012 or 2007 even. And it started, I think like many people my age, I'm 28, with September 11th. It was a moment for a lot of people in my generation that was really defining. And for me, it was especially devastating because not only was I devastated as a citizen of Duxbury, Massachusetts, who had friends whose parents, worked in New York City and had visited the World Trade Towers when I was, on field trips. But it was also devastating because my family was the only Arab American and Muslim American family in my small town. And for whatever reason, instead of being able to experience that hurt alongside community members in the same way as an American, a small fraction, I have to give a lot of credit to my hometown, but a small fraction of the people in my hometown reacted in a really negative way towards my family. And someone threw a Molotov cocktail at my dad's office, and my little brothers got teased in the playground, and I got in a fight with some kid in social studies class who said we should just nuke them all. And it was a really tough time. I was in 10th grade and had never really identified as someone different than the other kids in my high school. And so I think I had an amazing vice principal who pulled me into his office after I got in a particularly interesting fight with a kid in social studies class. And he said, you're not going to solve anything by yelling at people and by yelling back when they yell at you. The way you're going to solve things, bigger things, because you've got bigger aspirations on the horizon, is by stepping back, taking a deep breath, and smiling. And understanding that people's anger comes from a place of ignorance, not a place of hate. And so he said, I'm not going to give you detention. I'm not going to punish you for swearing at this kid in social studies class. I'm going to ask you to do something meaningful for the community, to tell them what being Arab American actually means and actually entails. So I worked with an amazing librarian, and I put together a speaker series as a little 15-year-old kid in my local library. And I really clearly remember the night of that speaker series being terrified that nobody would show up. And my dad, who's Lebanese, and left his home country because his university was shut down during the Civil War, came, and I very clearly remember his face as he stood in the back of the room, and the chairs filled up, and they filled up, and they filled up, and it was standing room only. And you're in this one stoplight town in conservative Massachusetts, and people had come out because my vice principal was right. It wasn't about hatred. It was really people didn't know what being Arab American or Muslim American meant and entailed, and they just wanted to know. And so there was something about that experience that stuck with me the rest of my life, that when you give people the chance to engage in meaningful dialogue with each other, 9 out of 10 times they step up and they really surprise you. And I saw that time and time again as I traveled throughout the country. I worked in Jackson, Mississippi in the 2008 primaries, and you would go to people's doors and they'd have a pickup truck with a Confederate flag bumper sticker on their pickup truck, and you'd be terrified to knock on their door and share your Barack Obama literature, and they'd welcome you with open arms. I love that guy. I'm planning on voting for him. So truly every experience since my little library experience when I was in 10th grade that I've had, not everyone, but the majority of them, has just shown me that Americans are the most wonderful, wholehearted, accepting people when you approach conflict with a smile and you drop your shoulders and you say, gee, tell me more about why you feel that way. Where's that coming from? And it's really disarming, and you can really make a big difference, whether it's a difference just one-on-one with someone that you talk to, or it's a structural difference like I helped people make when I was the National Training Director for the Re-elect in 2012, and I taught people how to drop their shoulders and smile and engage in meaningful conversations with their neighbors.